Yo, what's good? What's good? What's good? It's your man 100 Grand Ross for The Rock Never Stops. Tonight, I wanted to do a video on the Milwaukee Bucks. Have they done enough to remain a contender in the NBA for next season? If you like this video, I want you to smash the like button, hit subscribe, and the bell for notifications. I truly appreciate all the love, all the respect, all the comments, all the back and forth, whether you agree or disagree. Let me start off this segment by saying, if you are not moving forward to get better every single year as an organization, you are falling behind. Every single year, there are new players drafted. Every single year, last year's draft gets more experienced, gets more acclimated. The year before is more prepared to be able to be a support for their team. And each year, they're adding something different in order to take down whoever won the championship the year before. As a team in the NBA, in order to remain competitive, you cannot rest upon the laurels, even if you won a championship. You cannot rest upon the laurels of what you've accomplished in the past. The Boston Celtics, to remain a contender, is going to have to do something different. They're going to have to bring something new to the table. Now, whether that's with the internal development of guys like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, okay, sure. But they're going to have to take steps because the league is going to get better, right? Even if you're the Golden State Warriors, who've already began retooling, bringing in Dante DiVincenzo, J. Michael Green, they're doing different things that are putting them even further into the forefront, even further into the conversation of the team to beat. Right? They're not resting upon what they've done in the past. And so with the Milwaukee Bucks, who beat the Phoenix Suns 2 years ago, they beat a team who couldn't even get out of the semifinals last year. And when you look at the retooling of the Los Angeles Clippers, bringing in John Wall, you look at the New Orleans Pelicans, bringing back Zion Williamson, you look at the Portland Trailblazers, even the Sacramento Kings. I mean, you have teams who are going to be significantly better next season. And so if you're thinking that the team that was able to win a championship 2 years ago is going to be able to repeat that and come back, and that it's just about health, you're probably mistaken. So this is where we take a look at what the Milwaukee Bucks have been doing this offseason and what they'll likely continue to look to do in order to remain a contender, or what they should look to do to remain a contender. The first couple of things to mention is that they re-signed Bobby Portis, and they're bringing in what's his name? Joe Ingles from the Utah Jazz. Now, both these guys are proven veterans, right? Bobby Portis, man, he's a walking bucket in the front court. He's shown you in the NBA Finals. He's somebody you can rely upon to step up. He's almost like a Robert Horry type, right? Probably with a little bit more interior game and a better rebounder, but definitely has that ability to hit big shots and is not scared of the moment. So he's proven. Bringing him back was a must. If they lost him, that would have been a huge blow to this team, right? So check off. That's done. Now, Joe Ingles. This is a guy who brings some much needed playmaking and facilitation from the forward position, something that Chris Middleton basically had to do all on his own from the wing position, right? If it wasn't Drew Holiday or Giannis, it was Chris Middleton. But we saw once he went down with an injury, they had nobody there. Right, it began to fall that much more on Drew Holiday and Giannis Antetokounmpo. And when it got to the Eastern Conference semifinals, they just couldn't get past the Boston Celtics. They didn't have enough, right? And so he's definitely going to be somebody who can definitely be one of those players that is a glue guy to an extent, because he's one of those connector pieces. His ability to play make, shoot, facilitate, handle the ball a lot with a high skill, high basketball IQ level. He's somebody that's going to continue to make the game easy for the supportive cast of guys like Grayson Allen, Pat Connaughton, who are better off playing off of someone else rather than being dependent upon to get a basket on their own, right? Wesley Matthews as well, right? And so Joe Ingles is going to be a welcome addition. But here's the thing. Both Joe Ingles and Chris Middleton are coming off of pretty big time injuries, significant injuries, not ankle rolls, not, back stiffness, like knees, lower body injuries, right? And this is going to require that they have time to rest. And because they're over 30 now, they're also probably more than likely going to be brought along slowly. So this is when we're going to look at what the Milwaukee Bucks did in the draft. I love, and let me say, I absolutely love the Marjon Beauchamp draft selection. He's somebody that I think is going to be able to play a major role for them. Now, whether he's ready to do so next year is yet to be seen. Is yet to be seen. I love the athleticism, the motor. He's everything that Giannis Antetokounmpo thinks he is, right? He's a super athletic wing who can defend multiple positions, play over the rim, get out in transition. But Marjon Beauchamp probably has a better shooting stroke at this point. Even if he's not yet the reliable three-point shooter, I think he has that to eventually develop in his game. Now, if he's ready to contribute next season, all the better for the Milwaukee Bucks. At 6'7" with about a 7-foot wingspan, 35+ inch vertical, fast twitch type of an athlete, great lateral mobility and ability to guard probably 1 through 4 in the NBA. His energy and defensive potential off the bench is going to allow the Milwaukee Bucks to match up that much better with teams like the Boston Celtics, right? Teams that want to go smaller, right? And when you start having a lineup of Bobby Portis, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Chris Middleton, and then you can have a Marjon Beauchamp filling in as his defensive ace with Drew Holiday, right? Now you have the ability to defend high-level wings that doesn't require the effort of Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton. They can now take a back seat and allow Marjon to be able to play as a high-level defender, and they can focus more of their energy on offense, right? But that's a big if. Is he ready? Is he ready? That's not guaranteed. And considering that he was playing at community college only 2 years ago, and then the G League Ignite team last year, where he didn't have a major role, though he started, it wasn't a tremendous role, especially on the offensive end. Though they gave him leeway to try to develop, and you can see he was working on different parts of his game. I don't know if he's there yet. And so this makes us look at free agency, right? They have the Milwaukee Bucks have last year's unrestricted free agent, or going into this summer's unrestricted free agent, in Jordan Nwora, who was just kind of unspectacular. He wasn't somebody who was able to solidify a role on this team despite being in a position where the team needed him to. He just wasn't able to be consistent enough. Though he has pretty good scoring instincts, what he lacked on defense, athletically in transition, and consistency on offense as a shooter, they just weren't able to keep him around, and that's why he's at unrestricted free agency, right? And so other guys that they might want to look at, some of them are my favorite guys that I'm still kind of holding out hope for, but Josh Jackson was somebody that comes to mind, right? He has actually a high skill level and pretty high basketball IQ. The main things in the past against him were his shooting and his maturity. I think the maturity has come along, and I think playing amongst contenders will definitely allow him to continue to mature as he's held accountable, especially by MVP and Defensive Player of the Year level players, all-star level players, champions, right? He has nothing to do but fall in line, which I think he did the past couple of seasons as he's been working his way back into the NBA as a NBA level player. But he has somewhat of what Marjon Beauchamp and Joe Ingles brings, right? He can facilitate, play make, get to the rim, while also getting out in transition, attacking the rim, and being a tough physical defender at 6'8", who can defend probably 1 through 4 as well in the NBA, or at least a small ball 4, right? The Jason Tatum type, right? And so that could be a huge plus for an organization like the Milwaukee Bucks, who just might want to have a little bit more insurance, right? Another player that they might look at, and this is probably less high on their list, but Yuta Watanabe, the Japanese player, played for the Toronto Raptors the past few seasons. Yuta Watanabe has great size at 6'8", close to a 7 foot, like a 6'10" wingspan, good athleticism, solid skill set, if unspectacular. Kind of in the mold of Jordan Nwora, right? Probably a little bit more athletic and probably a little bit more reliable on defense, though. So he gives you a little bit more than him. But then again, Jordan Nwora at least knows the system. Though I will say that Yuta Watanabe playing in Toronto within that winning organization, he's going to be able to pick up the Milwaukee Bucks system fairly quickly. And I think that he can be a reliable player, even if unspectacular, even if at the end of the bench, right? Another few guys that I will also kind of throw out there. The backcourt has also been in need of a big time scoring punch, right? Somebody who can come in and go to work, just immediately get buckets. And the two guys that come to mind to me are Jordan Clarkson and I always forget his name, Colin Sexton. Colin Sexton. Jordan Clarkson is a little bit bigger at 6'5". Both have really good athleticism. Both are a walking bucket. Even though Colin Sexton is coming off of an injury, I think that they can potentially put together the type of packages, especially if they include a first round draft pick. They should be able to get either of those guys because I don't think either organization is too heavily invested in retaining them, though neither will want to give them up for nothing, right? Considering the fact that the Milwaukee Bucks are going to be selecting late in the first round next year, sacrificing a first round pick either next year or the year after shouldn't be too high of a price to bring in a legitimate six-man who can heat up and give them some scoring off the bench, along with Bobby Portis and Joe Ingles and even a Grayson Allen, right? Now, Colin Sexton is the younger of the two. I think that he has the potential, honestly, if I'm real with y'all, he could be a starter for the Milwaukee Bucks. I think he's the type of player that, especially next to Drew Holiday, who's 6'4", who can guard either guard positions, and seems to be more content, even though he's a two-way player, to focus on facilitating and defending than necessarily going out and scoring. But I think someone like Colin Sexton can take a huge burden off of Chris Middleton and Giannis Antetokounmpo, and at times even carry the offensive load for stretches. He's shown, 2 years ago when he was in Cleveland, that he could be a 20-plus point per game scorer on really good efficiency. Now, when you're playing on a team that is still developing, that's not that talented, it's one thing to score a lot. It's another thing to score a lot and really efficient. And that, to me, signals that it's transferable to winning, right? I can scale you up. I can scale you down. You're going to be able to do what you do within this system without hurting us offensively, right? Without diminishing our offensive potential, right? And I think he could be a great pairing, even long-term, next to Drew Holiday. This Milwaukee Bucks team is definitely in need of a youth infusion. And at 23 years old, I think he can definitely provide some of that youth and scoring in the backcourt to take some pressure off of Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday. Jordan Clarkson, similar. He's a bucket, but I think he's better suited off the bench, though he could be kind of like the Jordan Poole six-man coming off the bench that provides a spark and also closes out games like he has in Utah. But other than that, I want to know what you all think. Did the Milwaukee Bucks do enough this offseason? Do you think they need to do more, signing one of the aforementioned players? Is it somebody else that maybe I didn't mention that you think that they need to pursue to really solidify their team to be a contender next year? But once again, I appreciate all the support. Smash the like button, hit subscribe and the bell for notifications. I'm going to holler at y'all next time. Peace.